My name is Taylor Poulin. I'm the head CrossFit coach at CrossFit Factory Wood Road in Braintree, Massachusetts. I got into CrossFit about 6 years ago when I was in the military. I was stationed in Al-Asad, Iraq, and I wrote a story on an athlete. He was a captain at the time in the military, in the Marine Corps, where he was doing CrossFit and he was getting his whole unit to do CrossFit. And at the time, we were in a transition period in the Marines where we were training our physical fitness tests to more combat readiness. So we were all constantly looking for something that would challenge us. I mean, that's what we did as Marines anyway. We wanted to challenge ourselves every day. And we found CrossFit. So I wrote the story, learned everything I could about it, and the next thing you know, I was hooked. You know, I used it to train for road races. I just used it for everyday life. So when I came back from my tour in Iraq, I sought out the nearest affiliate, which was in Hanson, Massachusetts. I'm from East Bridgewater. And I just started training ever since. And I soon realized that I need to do something more with this. I need to teach people this. I need to promote this any way that I can. By definition, CrossFit is constantly varied, functional movements performed at high intensity. So that definition can be kind of gibberish to some people, but what it really is in the gym we take movements that you do in your real life, whether that's sitting down in a chair and standing back up, whether that's bending down and picking something up off the ground, or putting something back on the shelf. You know, those are specific movements that we use in here with barbells and dumbbells that we train a specific way and make sure we understand we're doing it the right way. So for the other 23 hours of your life when you're out of here, we know that you're moving the correct way and building our bodies up to be better human beings. So CrossFit is for everybody. You take the workout of the day, which is more or less a template of movements and time domains for the day, and then you scale it across different intensities. So the saying that we use all the time is you program your workouts for the best athletes, and then you scale for the rest. So program for the best, scale for the rest. So any athlete can come in here and do the movements. Since we're using movements that you do every single day in your life, they're pretty common, like sitting down to a chair and standing back up. In our world, that's a squat. Or picking something up off the ground, that's a deadlift in the gym. So all we need to do is change the intensities or the movement patterns specifically. So whether they're 25 or 80 or their fitness abilities are a little bit different, we can scale according to what they need and then set them forth. That's why you have a class of 20 to 25 people all doing the same workout, kind of, but they all finish together and then it's nothing but high fives at the end. There's a little backstory about the guy that created CrossFit. He was on his rowing machine in his garage and he was rowing. He was doing intervals or going a specific distance, and then his dog walked up and the dog turned and looked at the monitor and he immediately started rowing faster. And it's just his dog. We as human beings have a sense of accomplishment, instant gratification. We like to be good at things. So if we're working out with other people and they're moving, it makes us move. In CrossFit, you're never alone. You always have a gym buddy, and these guys don't really know each other, but they come in, they work out together, and then they expect to see each other day after day. My advice for someone that wants to try CrossFit but hasn't, get in there immediately. Typically what I see is someone that is apprehensive to trying CrossFit, and then they eventually do, whether it takes them 3, 6, 9 months or a year. They start it and then they get into a routine and then they say, I wish I'd done this sooner. If you find a right coach and if you find a right home, because that's what this is, the coach will take care of you and make sure that you're set up for success. And don't think of it as like it's your job to get ready for CrossFit. It's the coach's job to get you ready for CrossFit. All right, guys, so I'm going to take you through how to probably do a squat and how we instruct it here at CrossFit Factory Wood Road. So first thing you need to think about is where to put your feet. My feet are going to be about hip width apart, so directly underneath my hips. Now my toes, what I'm going to do is turn those out 5 to 10 degrees. The reason I do this is your hip and your shoulder, it's a capsule. It's made up of the same thing. So what we're doing is we're slightly externally rotating that hip into place. When I stand here, feet underneath my hips and turn my toes out, I should be able to squeeze my butt. Because your glutes back here are the big muscles that are actually going to be performing this actual movement or carrying any of the load, which right now is my own body weight. So now that the feet are set, what I'm focusing on first, I'm going to send my hips back, almost like if I have a stool or a chair behind me, or if you're going to sit down in your favorite chair. You send your hips back, my arms come up, and then I go down. So as I'm going down, I'm driving my knees out because I want to keep that same shape of pushing my knees out. And the reason I keep my hands up is I want to put my spine in a neutral position. If my hands drop, my chest drops, and I put a curve in my spine. Keep my hands up, spine in neutral position, driving the knees out. For depth, we are looking for hip crease right below the knee, but if you can't get there, that's perfectly fine. I want to keep all of my weight back in the heels, and to stand back up, I drive through my heels and I just stand back up. So it's full speed motion right now. Hips go back down in the heels and then back up. Back down and then back up. One specific movement that we like in CrossFit is the snatch. The snatch is a form of Olympic weightlifting that we do in CrossFit in our classes all the time, that we do under a lot of correction and coaching. This snatch is one continuous motion with the barbell from the ground going straight up overhead. And it looks like this. Bar muscle up is a gymnastics movement. It's a very high skilled gymnastics movement that we do in here. What it is you jump up to the pull-up bar and you pull yourself up on top of the pull-up bar, and then you dip your arms completely locked out. So it's almost like if you locked yourself out of your house and you need to jump up to the window, pull yourself in, it's the same kind of motion. So check it out. Another movement we do in here is handstand push-ups. Think of it more of like an overhead pressing motion. So anything you can do with dumbbells or a barbell, you can do with your own body weight. So something that we do is we kick up against the wall with locked out arms, lower ourselves down to an apparatus. I'm using a cushion pad right here, so I'll touch my head to the pad and then press right back up. So it looks like this. So all of these movements, especially the bar muscle up and the snatch, is a very high skill movement. So if you're going to do those, make sure you seek out a CrossFit gym or a CrossFit affiliate near you and get coached those movements. Perform things body weight first and then build on top of that. Don't just flip upside down and try a handstand push-up. You got to get certified in these movements before actually coaching somebody else as well. But having someone else watch your movements to make sure you're performing them the right way is the best way to go. So don't try to do them looking in a mirror as well, because that'll throw yourself off a little bit.